All right, guys. So this review here is a response from the last quiz that we took. So it's really lined up to the quiz that you guys just took. Some of you haven't taken it, so you're gonna have to take that today. Okay. Now let's begin here. So solving equations review. Number one. Notice here we have a two-step equation here. So our variables on the right hand side. So let's go ahead and start on the right hand side. Remember, we're going to undo addition or subtraction first. And so let's go ahead and subtract 24 on both sides. And then we end up with negative 3x here, and then 72 minus 24. I'm not using a calculator, so I'm just going to borrow here. So that'll be 6, and then 12 minus 4 is going to be 8. And then 6 minus 2 is 4. Okay? Divided by negative 3. And so you end up with x equals, and then this is going to be a negative 16. Okay, so my answer is x equals negative 16. It's okay if it's written backwards that way. It means the same thing. Okay? Now, I want you guys to hit pause before I do the problem. Okay? So I want you guys to try it on your own first, and then hit play, and then see if you did it right. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for every problem, okay? Go ahead and hit the pause button. So I'm going to go ahead and first subtract 3. I get 3/5 x equals negative 25. They're both negative, so I go ahead and add those two. I'm going to go ahead and multiply the 3 and the x here, so it'll look like this. 3x over 5 equals negative 25. Okay? And then I'm going to undo the division here. I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 5. I've run out of room, so I'm going to continue up here. So the 5s are going to cancel here. I'm left with 3x equals... Now, what's 5 times negative 25? Well, that's like if I had 5 quarters. If you have 5 quarters in your pocket, you have 125 cents, or $1.25, right? In this case, it'll be negative 125. Okay? Last step is to divide by 3. And I get x equals 5, 6, 7, 8. I added the digits there, and it adds up to 8. That means that 3 cannot go into it. So my answer is just going to be negative 125 over 3. It can't be reduced. Okay, next one. Whenever you have parentheses, you can either distribute first or divide by that number outside of this, the parentheses. Notice here, 25 cannot be divided evenly by 3, so I'm just going to distribute. So this will be 6 minus 12x equals 25. Now I have a two-step equation. I'm going to undo the 6 here by subtracting 6. So 25 minus 6 is 19. Okay, equals negative 12x. Excuse me. So now let's go ahead and divide by the negative 12. And I get x equals negative 19 over 12. Okay, and my answer is like that. Next problem. I have distributing on both sides. Okay, so let's go ahead and take care of that. Right here I'm going to distribute by 6, so it'll be 6 minus 30x equals negative 12x minus 3. Okay, so now let's go ahead and simplify here. Let's go ahead and solve. I'm going to go ahead and add 3 on both sides. But I'm also going to add 30x on both sides. So notice here, those cancel. These cancel. I'm left with 6 plus 3 is 9 equals, and then 30 minus 12 is going to be 18x. Here, do I divide by 9 or do I divide by 18? Well, divide by the one with the variable, so that we're going to undo multiplication by dividing. So here we are dividing by 18. And I get x equals 9 over 18. But notice this can be reduced. 9 goes into 18 two times, so this will be 1/2. Okay, almost done here. This is a longer problem. Now, I can distribute the -7 here. I can go ahead and add 12 on both sides here, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add 12 on both sides. And so we get 72 equals 3x minus 7 times 3 minus 3x. Okay? I don't want to subtract 3x on both sides here. Okay? That's the only thing I can do. I can't divide by 3 yet because I need to have it all by itself. And then there's a minus 7 times 3 minus 3x there. So I need to distribute next. So this will be 72 equals 3x minus 21 plus 21x. So notice I distributed there. Okay? Now I can combine like terms here. I have 3x and 21x on the same side. Do not subtract or undo anything here. All you're doing is combining like terms. So this will be 21 plus 3 is 24x minus 21 equals 72. Okay? Now I can go ahead and add 21 to both sides. I get 24x equals, and this will be a 3 and then a 9, 93. Okay? I've run out of room. I'll continue up here. So this will be 93 equals 24x. So now we divide by the 24. I get x equals, now let me add the digits here, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 4, 5, 6. That means this is divisible by 3. Okay, so if I add the digits and it's divisible by 3, then that means that number is divisible by 3 also. So notice here, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 is divisible by 3. That means that 3 goes into 93. So how many times? Well, 3 goes into 9 3 times, 3 goes into 3 once, and then 3 goes into 24 8 times. Okay, so that's my answer. Next here, notice here I have the minus 10x here. I can go ahead and add that to both sides. Okay, I could distribute, but first I want to undo this operation here. So yes, it's negative 10 times x, but I am going to undo the subtraction of 10x by adding 10x to both sides because I see a like term over here. So 5x plus 10x is going to be 15x minus 8 equals, now I'm going to distribute 6x plus 27. Okay, so now, excuse me, now we go ahead and subtract 6x and add 8 to both sides. Cancels. I'm left with 15 minus 6 over here, which is 9x equals, and then 27 plus 8 is going to be 35. Divided by 9. X equals, now there's nothing here that goes into both, so my answer is just 35 over 9. All right, last few problems here. Notice here it says name a possible first step for solving this equation here. Okay, now I want you guys to write down your steps. So hit pause. Okay, you should have been hitting pause on every problem before this also. Okay, so now one possible first step would be to divide by 3 on both sides. So I'm going to write that, divide by 3 on both sides. Now, in this case, dividing by 3 would not be ideal because notice here I have a negative 5 divided by 3. It would leave me with a fraction. I'm trying to avoid fractions. Now, if this were a 15, a negative 15, let's leave it like that actually. If this were a negative 15, yes, it would be a good idea to divide by the 3. That way I'd end up with a negative 5 on that side, okay? What would the other possible step 1 be? Yes, it would be to distribute. Distribute the 3. Okay? So either way, you're able to divide by 3 or distribute the 3. Okay, notice if this was a 5, I would not have divided by 3. I would just kept it as distributing the 3. There's still possible first steps. It still wouldn't be wrong to divide by 3 on both sides. It just wouldn't be ideal. Okay, next. Which step cannot be a correct first step? So let's see what they do here. Can we subtract 6 on both sides? Sure you can. Yes, I could. So there's a 6 here. I can undo the 6 by subtracting 6 on both sides. So that's definitely a one of the correct steps for the first step. What about the negative 3? Can I distribute that to this one here? Yes, I could also. I would just be left with 6 minus 27 plus 12x. What about subtracting the 6 and the 3? Can I subtract these two numbers? No, the answer is no, you cannot. And the reason you cannot is because this negative 3 is being multiplied by the 9 minus 4x. And because of the order of operations, we're not allowed to add or subtract before multiplying. Okay? Now, when we're solving, we can undo addition first, okay, before undoing multiplication. But when we're combining like terms, we got to take care of multiplication first. And since this negative 3 is being multiplied with the parentheses, then that means we cannot subtract these. So C would be the correct answer for this one. Okay. Next one. On which step was the first error made? Well, let's see here. We have 4 steps to look over. So we have 10 minus 6, and then we have parentheses, and equals 50 minus 7x. So let's see. Can we subtract 10 on both sides? If we subtract 10 on both sides, that will become a 40. So let's see. We'll be left with everything else. Yes, that is a correct first step. So there's no error there. How about this? After that, can we distribute the negative 6? So can we distribute the negative 6 here? Sure we can. That's also correct first next step here. Negative 6 times 2 is going to be negative 12x. And then we get the negative 54. So far, no errors. What about adding 7 to both sides? So yes, we would want to add 7 to both sides, but this would be a negative 12 and a positive 7. That's where my mistake is. Okay? So the mistake was that they correctly said to add 7x to both sides, but they incorrectly combined the like terms. Because when I add 7 here, right, if I do plus 7x and plus 7x, that's not going to give me negative 19x. That's going to give me negative 5x. So here's where the error is. And since the error is here, that means the answer is wrong after that. Okay? Last one. So here we have another type of question where it asks you to find the first error made. Okay. So notice here's our equation. And let's see what they did. Did they distribute 3 and 13 to get? So they distributed the 3 and then the 13 here. So when you distribute the 3 here, you can't distribute. This is just 3 minus this. So here's where the first error is. You can't distribute a 3. Notice there's a minus sign in between. That means it's subtracting something from the 3. So we can't distribute. In fact, there's an invisible negative 1 there. That's what needs to be distributed. So this would be the incorrect step right there. Okay? So that means the whole problem is incorrect after that. And that's it.